I will not be voting for this. I think it potentially could lead to a gun registry, which I'm not for.
They have, and I think for good reason, come out against the Toomey Manchin compromise as full of holes, as unworkable, and as something that might very well lead to a national registry.
And, of course, most members of the Senate oppose gun registration. They know what has happened historically with gun registration.
In my opinion, I think the federal government has no business keeping a list of every American who chooses to exercise his right to keep or bear arms.
One of the provisions we expect to see in the bill, based on what we saw in the Judiciary Committee on which I sit, would allow the Attorney General of the United States to promulgate regulations that could lead to a national registry system for guns.
But you know what? There are a lot of people out there, good people out there, that want to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. They're concerned about that, too. Can you explain why this will not lead to gun registration?
Well, Pat, Joe, first of all, Pat and I were very clear to make sure that we protected the rights of law-abiding gun owners and clarified a lot of the things that's been misinformed or basically not clarified enough. So right now, the law is the federal government cannot do a registry. We doubled down on that and made it stronger penalties, a felony if any law enforcement or anybody tries to do a registry for the federal government. So we basically strengthen the ability for them not to be able to do it, and for us to be able to protect
So if anybody
rights.
in the federal government keeps these records, and creates their own registry,
will be a felony.
That is a felony, and
Absolutely.
they will go to jail. You're putting legislation out there that if they do this, you're going to send them to jail.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That's how strongly we feel that can't be done, shouldn't be done, nor do we agree on that.
Boy, that's strong.
That's very strong.
Not only will this not in any way contribute to any kind of national registry, it's explicitly forbidden. And anybody in the federal government who did try to create a federal registry would become a felon, subject to 15 years imprisonment. That's point number one.
What it would not do, Mr. President, is create a national registry of guns or gun owners. In fact, that's specifically outlawed in the legislation. I refer everyone to page 27 of the Manchin-Toomey compromise legislation. It not only bans a registry, but, Mr. President, it creates a 15-year felony sentence for any government official found storing these gun records. Claims that this legislation would create a gun registry is nothing more than shameful scare tactics.